Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternate Ending, discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarsinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarsinski and our very own critic in residence Tim Brayton, with Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Griswold world building their way into theaters.
That would be the Crimes of Grindelwald.
Griswold. Did I do this? I did this last time, I think.
It's a stupid title, and it's hard to say.
Grindelwald?
Grindelwald, actually.
I prefer Griswold.
I prefer too, but sadly,
I'd like to see Chevy Chase try to pull something off with a little National Lampoon's action. Grindelwald into theaters. We're looking at the top 5 movies I wished I lived in. Not you, I. So I don't really care what you all have to think.
I think there's going to be a lot of overlap,
yes.
By the way.
But first,
I would like to talk about a but first. Carrie, you are looking very fine over there. What have you been up to lately?
I don't. In what way? I actually don't know.
You look healthy and well and slender.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, did Rob tell you about my my recent?
I presume that Rob pays no attention to what's going on.
Well, it's tough because you see her
shift.
change over time, so it's not something that's dramatic. I need like a before and after pic.
So 2 days ago, I did start a Whole30 diet.
Whole30 is a good diet.
That could be it.
Whole30 is an excellent diet.
1 day off the sauce. So
1 day ago you started the Whole30 diet is really what you're telling me.
It is 1 day ago, but obviously it's working. Yeah. It must be that glow. I also have been continuing our Orange Theory. Rob's kind of fallen off the wagon, but I try to get there several days a week now.
It's worth going. I feel completely relaxed.
Orange Theory. It's like a little group fitness thing.
It's not quite as cultish as a
CrossFit.
As a CrossFit.
Yeah.
In fact, it's more for people who they just want to get in and out of a workout.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly for ladies, but Rob goes.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah. I did look around the other day and noticed that I was surrounded by ladies.
I totally forgot. You guys, you totally reminded me of something. So, you know how I like to occasionally ask you guys the what should I have done scenario?
Yes.
And I did something, but I want to know if it's like the right or wrong.
All right.
So I'm at Orange Theory this week.
Okay.
And I pop in. I'm always running a little bit late. There's only one treadmill open. Yeah.
I would have taken it.
Yeah, no, I did.
End of segment.
This isn't the story. It gets weirder. So I pop onto the treadmill. I'm a little bit late. I'm jogging. I look to the right and I'm like, gosh, this lady next to me looks kind of familiar.
And so you asked her out, which is also what I would have done.
Which actually, I've made it further with her than I have with Rob, which makes it awkward because it's my lady doctor. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, crap. Now what do I do? And Rob knows I'm super uncomfortable around people in general.
Yeah, you're not an icebreaker. You're
right.
Once the ice has been broken, Carrie goes and I don't know what the right metaphor
full
analogy.
force.
Yeah, she with something with ice.
Something
fills the ice, melts the ice.
I'm not good at that initial like hello or acknowledgement because I'm worried they don't know me and that they'll be confused and I don't like that look that people get. So I'm sitting there, 25-minute jog. She's right next to me, and I'm like staying in my lane. Like I don't turn, I don't make eye contact, but I'm thinking of Rob, who's always like, Carrie, break the ice, like just say hello. So what would you do if your male doctor...
If my gynecologist was at the gym...
right next to you, what would you do?
I don't know how I would cope with that.
Well, to make sure that she'd recognize me, I'd show her my vagina.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably how she best knows you.
Yeah, that we have...
Yeah, just wait until you go to the locker room after the thing and just like make a big show of taking your clothes off.
And then it's, Carrie!
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. It's that's what I did. So I'm glad... I did the right thing.
I had a very actually similar, in some way, the only person who can be more intimate than the person who like puts a flashlight up inside your business was when I saw my therapist in a grocery store once.
Oh yeah, I think it's the same almost.
And that was like a smile and nod thing.
Smile nod.
Didn't say hi. Just was like sort of like, oh, like, you know, the thing that you do when you are walking in a hallway next to someone you recognize. I may or may not have been faking a phone call at the same time that this happened.
I didn't have a phone.
I think
So-
it's just the stigmas and taboos around, those two particular examples that you both brought forward.
What if it's your podiatrist?
Right.
What if it's the person who gets all that gunky ass fungus off your feet? That's less of a social taboo, but I think I would still have the same level of
No
uncomfort.
embrace. No embrace. Okay. Did you embrace care?
So what I did do is I pent up the energy and the nerves for the 25 minutes that I was running. And then, when you haven't spoken in a while and you forget the volume of your voice. So I was like, Carrie, be brave, be brave. So treadmill stops and all of a sudden I'm like, hi, doctor! Very loud. And she jumps and she looks
As I'm
startled.
sure our listeners just did as well.
Sorry.
I feel like this is the punchline I wanted the story to have. And so ... you have to find a new lady doctor.
I have to find a new lady doctor. I was like, I'm fine. That procedure you did, going great. Going really well, just to let you know.
Carrie had a lift.
All right.
I didn't have
A
a
lab
lift.
lift.
I did not have a
lift and
lab
tuck.
lift. Oh,
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
A
lab tuck?
A lab tuck? Yeah.
A lab tuck?
I think tightening surgeries are definitely a thing.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that, but I did have some things, and she helped with those things, and I feel very close
Those
to her
things
now.
are your children.
That's
Carrie.
right.
They have names, and they are Abby and
So
Alice.
it was the wrong choice, is what I'm saying. I should have said nothing at all and pretended that I didn't see her.
Yep.
You
I
should
can see that now.
have invited her to go see a movie.
I should have.
Yeah.
She's very into them.
I think she would have been interested in some of the movies you've seen since the last episode with our worth mentioning
Oh,
segment.
that segue just gave me chills.
That was
a
like
good
one of the better
Real
ones.
That was a good one.
Real
Ooh.
good, yeah.
Of the movies we've seen since the last episode, which are the ones we want to talk about most? They could be great movies. They could be terrible. Care, which one do you want to share?
Well, I saw 3. I caught both Suspiria 1, and then I caught Suspiria, what we'll call maybe a reboot. Not really a remake, more of a reboot.
More of a recreation.
Reimagination.
A reimagining.
Yes.
I like that.
This was
Reimagining.
on your list, Tim.
This was on my list. This was my number
top
4. I
five.
So
think.
thanks to Tim, we got to see that, and then thanks to Kevin J. Olson, who is a Patreon of Alternate Ending, we got to see the 1977 Suspiria as well, which, much to my surprise, was pretty good.
Much
so I
to
think
my surprise that you thought it was
I don't
pretty
even
good.
get it. So I think I'll talk about that one today. And then I also saw, what's the other one I saw? Only
About Time.
About Time.
Mm-hmm.
Only About Time.
Not only about
Just
time.
about time. Just about the time.
Just about time.
And so I think I'll talk about Suspiria today.
All right, Tim.
So I'm working on figuring out exactly how many films I saw, which was more than 3. Missed out the one film that I was hoping to see because of a terrible, terrible bus situation, which was going to be the new version of The Grinch, but we'll save that one for next week. So instead, I want to just talk about one of the other recent new releases that I saw, which was a dreadful, dismal, hate-filled, awful movie that no one should see called Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh no.
I saw your rating on it wasn't favorable.
It's funny. I'm hearing critics hate it. Audiences love it.
Well, those audiences are special people who we love and whose opinions I value.
Well, I'm excited to understand your
And
position.
I've seen, by the way, 7 features, and I rewatched the old Grinch short since
my
our
goodness.
last time together.
I do want to hear about Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, I do too.
Because I was the trailers of that had me wanting to see it.
I know. I want to see it as well. I saw 4 movies. Carrie mentioned 3 of them about time, both Suspirias, and then I snuck in home while Carrie was away with the girls. The 2015 Rihanna and guy from Big Bang Theory, Sheldon. Voiced animated movie.
Oh, Home. You literally saw when I
saw
misunderstood
Home.
that.
Saw
to
it
mean
again.
Your Home.
No.
Oh.
So those are the movies I've seen. I'm also going to jump on the Suspiria bandwagon and curious to see what Bohemian Rhapsody. So, Kara, start us off. We ended up getting a copy, a 4K beautifully restored version.
Yes.
Thanks
the
to Tim.
Synapse Blu-ray that came out last year, which is just like heartbreakingly beautiful.
It is very colorful. I will give you that. So this one's directed by Dario Argento. And here's a weird thing. Do you know who wrote this? Daria Niccolodi.
Nickelodeon. You know what's even weirder?
Yeah.
They were fucking at the time.
Interesting.
You know what's weirdest of all?
No.
They produced Asia Argento through their fucking.
Interesting.
Which is how
Never
it's done.
married though?
I don't know if they were married or not. They are certainly no longer together and may indeed have split up very shortly after this movie.
But they didn't go with the theme. The Daria thing feels cute.
Sure.
You know? I'd like to have found somebody with a
It
very
would have,
similar
yeah,
name.
it would have made all the
Like if
the
his name was like
magazines.
Caro.
Yeah, Caro. That's right. So I saw this one. This stars Jessica Harper as Susie, who's just lovely. Stefania Cassini is Sarah in this. I'm just calling out the really bold characters. Barbara Magnolfi's in this, is Olga. Any other ones to note?
Alida Valli, who plays not Madame Blanc, the one who she plays like the headmistress, but not the headmistress.
Yeah.
What's her name? Oh my God.
Who is it, Rob?
I don't
Give
have
it to
it.
me.
I don't have it.
Alida Valli is a very like important actress of many decades.
So
You're missing out pretty much the most important person.
The witch?
The 90-year-old prostitute that Dario found on the side of the
90-year-old
street.
prostitute.
That he found on the side of the street to play the head.
Oh,
headmistress.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Not to
that.
play the headmistress,
Or not the headmistress,
to play Helena Marcos.
Yes. To
You
play
mean the
Helena
black
Marcos.
lady thing? Like the finger with the fingers?
Yes.
Death. To play death. Right?
Not to play death. To play. It's
What you end
it's
up
a
seeing at the
spoilery
end.
thing.
Yeah.
The thing that you briefly see at the end.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was death. Okay.
I mean,
that-
some people
Okay.
may consider.
I have some questions, clearly.
Someone who's lived 90 years prostituting, not the full 90, but a substantial part of their life.
I don't really know what you're
prostituting
saying about prostitutes right now.
Okay.
I may have missed some parts
We'll
of the
catch
movie.
up.
The actress was not an actress. She was a prostitute.
Oh, like in real life.
Her job was having sex with men for money.
Oh.
Or potentially with women.
I
I'm
thought
not
that was
sure.
maybe one of the like underlying metaphors in the movie or something, but no, legit prostitute. Interesting.
Casting can find its way, anywhere.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to look this up later. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So Susie, who I talked about earlier, is this American ballerina. She travels to Germany to join this prestigious academy, this dance academy, that they don't dance much. But either way, when she gets there, things are okay at first, but then strange things start to begin, like people dying and maggots falling on her face. She's made of metal. No, and then she knows something's up, and so it's up to Susie to sort of like make it out alive. But will she, despite the leaders of the school having some suspicious activity as well?
Witchy goings on.
Yeah. So.
And I want to point out, it's things go south pretty early. It's by the 14-minute mark we've seen someone more or less cleaved in half by a pane of falling glass.
Yeah, they definitely did. No, that's the one that she hangs.
She flees.
She hangs, right?
So the one who flees the school is the one who gets hung, but the one she flees to spend time with, who, if I recall correctly, is Daria Nicolodi, I think is the woman who gets cut in half by glass.
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
So what Tim's saying, if you haven't seen this, don't want to spoil it. It kind of feels like we probably already have, but it's this really sort of like creepy ass horror movie, but it's so edgy. It's really edgy. It has some like, it's pretty gory, but like in a way that now that we're watching it right now, you're like, oh, like it seems like play, sort of. Or fake.
I get it.
I don't know.
I think so.
But it works because you know that it's old. So anyway, it's bright and it's colorful, and I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of fun.
The music too
and
was.
the music.
It took us. Yeah.
Yes.
I think I was setting something up, but we had the intro of the Blu-ray playing on loop.
Oh, yeah.
And it was creeping me out.
Yeah.
Man,
It was creeping
There's
me
these
out.
little,
Score is one
there's
of
these
my
little
all-time
ticks in the
favorite.
background too. We have a speaker system around us, so like you could hear these little like crisp noises. Like you kept like
That's so
jumping
great.
and
That's
looking
so great.
behind you, and you're like So it has. Did you ever used to watch Get Smart?
I never watched the show Get Smart.
I was a huge fan of that show, and it has that element to me, that like bright 70s, like 60s, 70s brightness that I think has some nostalgia factor
It was
for me.
more less like colors for me, certainly.
Yeah.
Like his use of colors, the costuming, the score. The low points for me for the original Suspiria was that I feel like the premise was so strong, but like I didn't really follow all that was going on, and the acting was a little rough. It was a lot rough.
Acting in Italian genre films is this weird thing. Acting in Italian cinema generally, because they're all speaking different languages on set, and then they're all being post-dubbed later on. So like acting is sort of a weird thing to judge. As far as like not making sense, I agree with you completely, and I think that is the film's best strength. Mm-hmm. I think it is about waking up into a nightmare, and basically Susie spends the whole film literally before she even gets to the school, because there's that like that airport that she lands in is like a really fucked up, heightened airport. Like the sound is all over the place, colors are all over the place.
There's something with like the doors.
Exactly.
Like I don't really know. Like you're always tense. You're just constantly tense.
So I think literally the entire film, right up until that moment that she like rubs her hands through her hair and she's getting rain and she smiles at the very end of the film, I think the whole thing is just one constant
Tension
incoherent
ball.
nightmare.
Yeah.
So
I like that about it.
So because of that, I thought, wow, let's fast forward to 41 years or whatever it's been. I'm excited about. Karen and I are both excited to see this because let's start from there.
Let's
reimagine it with modern acting and kind of bring it to a level then that I can more identify with the latest Suspiria that was released just a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
This one directed by Luca Guadagnino. Oh, thank you. Who did Call Me by Your Name, which I think all of us really enjoyed quite a bit. And I wanted to see, could they take the premise and really build on that structurally.
And they do.
Yes.
They just do it in a direction that is maybe not the way we're hoping it would happen.
That's absolutely true. I think certainly there are things improved. The things that I noticed right away that I missed was the short runtime of the 1.5 hours.
It's almost a 1 hour difference.
It's 1 hour difference and 1 hour that I probably don't need.
Tim's going to disagree with you on that because his favorite bits are probably the last weird part.
Oh, yeah.
There's some great acting. There's some great acting in here.
Oh, my gosh. Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton is my favorite actor in the movie, followed by Tilda Swinton, followed by Dakota Johnson, followed by Tilda Swinton.
And I'm really
man
impressed.
Or lady?
I would say
for your second Tilda Swinton.
Lady Swinton, man Swinton, Johnson, old Swinton.
Okay, old Swinton.
Is the order that I would rank them in.
I think the trouble for me was the movie was trying to say something, and I know it was. I have no idea what it was trying to say.
It's saying loads of stuff. I think the first Suspiria is basically just saying it would suck to be in a ballet academy full of witches.
Right. And that's what I wanted this movie to be, but modern, because I love that premise of kind of not a sleepaway camp, but you go off and it's not what you think it is, and you unravel this mystery. Yep. That's all I wanted.
Yeah,
in a modern, I wanted a modern horror telling of this story.
It's not.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I would call it horror, period.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
I don't know.
Allegory?
It's definitely an allegory.
Right.
There's horror in it. It ends in horror.
Oh, I think there's horror mostly throughout. Think about the what's her face scene.
There's the telekinetic.
There's the Sarah scene.
There's the Sarah scene.
Oh.
Mia Goss in here too.
Yes,
doing well, doing a good job.
Sarah.
That's Sarah. Yeah. I also have to say that what the original lacked any dancing whatsoever. They're a dance academy that doesn't, or ballet academy that doesn't do any ballet. This one had some cool dance numbers,
really good dance numbers,
very sexualized dance things, and I love the tension between Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton the entirety of the movie. But yeah, it devolved for me, particularly at the end. The end is what, in which I think we'll probably have to take.
I think the end is a thing. I think the end is a thing that you either love or hate the movie, and you either love or hate the ending within that.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah,
ultimately, because of the kind of opposing pros and cons that each movie brought, I ended up rating them.
I saw
right about the same.
You ended up rating both of them higher than I thought you'd rate either of them. And frankly, so did you, Carrie. I thought we were going to be looking at like 2 1-star.
Yeah. No, the first one was good. The second one challenged me a bit more, and it was slow, and it wasn't as tense, and it was more boring. And I liked that the first one actually was left more to your imagination. And then this one, they're like, oh, there's witches.
Oh, yeah.
So you know,
it tells you witches within like 8 minutes.
Witches over there. Like those people over there, those are witches. Like I felt
the ones
like
who are having a vote with their minds, they're witches.
They're witches.
And there's this long B story going on in the new one.
Yep.
With the old man?
The old man.
Yeah.
And
I don't know that it even needed that.
It needs it probably for what they were trying to communicate.
It's doing a different thing. It's a different film that uses it. So it starts at an American visits a ballet academy run by witches. And that's pretty much like from there, it does a different thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I would like to propose that we take this to a little spoiler.
Let's do it.
A little spoiler-friendly content for our Patreon.
So you can answer my questions.
Yeah, I have questions too.
I'm guessing you both have. I have questions.
So if you're a Patreon, head out to the site. We'll just have
lots and lots of questions with no answers.
Head out and look for the spoiler on this then.
All right, Tim, you wanted to mention another movie.
We'll just go through it real quick. Yeah. So Bohemian Rhapsody is the story of Queen circa 1970 to 1985. And kind of specifically the story of Freddie Mercury, played by Rami Malek, the lead singer for that group, who died of AIDS in 1991. So the film is this really weird like axe grinding thing because it was made with the full cooperation of the 3 living members of Queen, Brian May, Roger Taylor, and John Deacon. And it's very, very clear that they're still pissed off at Freddie Mercury for being more famous than they are. So a large part of the second half of the movie is basically variations on Freddie going out and being like beloved by the media and sort of drinking a lot and having a lot of gay sex, and then like needing to apologize to them because his drinking and gay sex have gotten in the way of Queen. And like Queen, the band, is held up as this like sort of almost like morally powerful thing, like just in and of itself. It's very self-serving in a way that I found just terribly uninteresting. It's also really hard to follow the plot if you don't already know what's going on, because it's basically like, in 1970, Freddie met Brian and Roger. In 1975, they were recording Bohemian Rhapsody. In 1980, they were recording Another One Bites the Dust. And it just sort of like happens.
Yeah.
Like there's dates to tell you where you are. But like everything that happened between 1970 and 1975 is just kind of like glossed over. And like they released 3 albums, they released several hits, and like it's all kind of just like, it's just not stitched together well. It's just a whole bunch of scenes centered around like, you like this song, right? Well, here it is being lip synced to, and that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like the good bits were in the previews. Like the building it up with music and like getting you excited about it.
It exists solely to give you some visuals to look, because they're not even re-recording the songs. Like Rami Malek is just singing along.
Yeah, good luck trying to
exactly. You
replicate
can't. Freddie Mercury had a 4-octave voice. Like no one has that. So it's only interesting in that you're like getting to listen to Queen songs while looking at like a Freddie Mercury lookalike, basically. And Malek is very good. Like he's really good in the role, but like it's just not enough for me. I could just put on my Queen best of and get the same experience.
I think that's what it is. I think the reason why the audience response is what it is because they're getting their bucket filled of Queen, which is what all they're going out to theaters to get.
Right. And I guess I need a story. If I'm going to get off my ass and go into a movie theater, I need more than just the ability to listen to songs I already have the ability to listen to.
And for me, as someone who doesn't know much about the story of Freddie Mercury, I'm still excited to go see it to get kind of the Cliff's Notes version of what it is that happened in his life, or at least the latter parts of his life. So. Review of that coming soon?
Review that
it's already up on the site.
Gosh, I got to catch up.
You got to pay attention to what's on your own site.
Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. Get early access and exclusive content, make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more. You can do that from our Patreon site. I actually neglected to mention that Paul Royer inspired our election topic last week.
That was a good one, too.
Yes. That was a really good episode.
Thanks, Paul.
The timing was perfect, so I just kind of assumed we were doing it based on election. But no, it was in fact Paul who brought it up to us a while back, and we were rewarding him with paying it off. Also, Care, what's in Tim's sack?
Oh, there is something in Tim's sack today. Thank you for asking.
I hope so.
So I will go to that. So this is to all of us. You guys prepare yourselves. Dear to all 3 hands on Tim's sack.
Hands on deck.
That's all 3.
Hands on.
Hands on.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
It's right there.
I know it's there, but it's better if you don't say it. Alrighty. So, how did you figure out you wanted to be involved in the capacity that you are in movies, whether as a casual moviegoer, film school dropout, or critic in residence? Particularly, what was the film or films that most inspired your fascination with the movies and eagerness to express that via blog, review, or water cooler talk? ?
All right.
Maybe
All the best, Sting.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
One of our longtime regulars. Thank you. So I guess I can take the first stab at that because I probably have more.
Are you into movies and like blogs
I like movies
and stuff?
a bit.
Oh, okay.
I have a capacity that I am in.
Yeah.
No. So I kind of fell into it the wrong way around, which is that I wanted to make movies. That's what I went to school for undergrad. Spent several years really trying to like make that happen. And the blog started out really as in 2005. I had a lot of time at work. My job was very boring. I only really did like an hour's worth of work a day. So I was like, well, I can fill this time with something else. So I started writing. And because at that point in time, I was really trying to figure out like how do movies work. So I was writing very much from the focus of like, here's a movie. It has an effect. How does it generate that effect? Like that has always interested me more than like, what does the movie mean or where does the movie fit into culture? It's always just about like the film is a mechanism working on a viewer. What is the mechanism? How do the gears fit together? Because that's what I wanted to do. Years went by and it became very clear that wasn't going to play out. And so here I am.
So wait, how many years ago was that?
That was 2005.
Okay.
And I think by 2012, 2013, I think I'd more or less given up any real chance, any real hope that I was ever going to become a filmmaker. Because it was 2013 that I decided, you know what, maybe I can do the film school, like the grad school thing.
Oh, right.
And I did that, and then I don't want to say I met you lovely people, because I knew you lovely people, but
Re-engaged
with you once we were living in the same city, and here we are. And as far as that other question, what are the movies that like really pushed me towards that?
Yeah.
I actually have a really specific answer to that question. I wanted to make movies for a long, long time prior to 1998, but The Truman Show in 98 is the one that really just like made me aware.
A Jim Carrey movie?
A Jim Carrey movie.
That's very surprising to me.
But it's also The Truman Show.
I thought you were going to be like Casablanca.
I mean, I love Casablanca, but like The Truman Show is the film that really like made me aware, like, oh, stories get told in a way. Like they aren't just sort of these free-floating things that like get put into film. Like someone made choices about how to tell that story in this really idiosyncratic way that makes it more interesting to watch it. So that's the film that made me care about story structure, and story structure is kind of my thing.
All right.
It's the thing I like most.
What about you, Dropout?
Yeah, for me, I was trying to think chicken or egg. Like, did my parents put me in front of the television because I loved being there, or did I love being in front of the television because that's where they put me?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, either way, I ended up in front of the TV.
Either way, movies are a surrogate for your parents' love.
They were for a lot of things. And one of the big things that I think I quickly learned while watching movies was I was able to gather from movies the ability to fit in better, know things about history better. In a Cliff's Notes version, I didn't have to pick up a book to read it. So I actually, for me, I learned a lot about relationships. And so when I encounter things in real life...
You don't want to know what movies he's been watching either.
Well, no, when I encountered things in real life, I had a mechanism for which I knew how to react in a specific way, or could potentially foresee if I reacted a different way, what the outcome might be. So movies were a way for me to kind of learn about life.
What's the movie that taught you most about relationships, Rob?
I don't feel like About Time.
About
the one we just saw had some good lessons in there. No, I'd say the movies that really...
What you were supposed to say?
Yeah.
The home movie of your wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Or The Notebook.
Yeah.
Or your sex tape.
Yeah.
That's what taught me about relationships is your sex tape.
As far as, there's no one specific movie, but growing up, it's actually, this topic is a good one because I was just, young lad watching worlds be built by directors like Spielberg, Cameron, Zemeckis. These are directors and the movies that they directed helped build these worlds where I was fascinated with, again, that attention to detail that they had in telling stories. So that became my passion for movies.
Interesting.
I can't make movies worth crap, so I learned that quickly when I went to film school.
Oh, you can, I'm sure.
I can. I'm just not as talented as I was the high school kid doing movies for every project.
I saw them. They weren't bad.
But when you get to college, and you get to film school, everybody was doing that.
Yeah.
They're all better than you, including this guy across from.
And I was already not very good. So,
so there's the bar.
I was good enough to not drop out of film school.
Right. I can see that. Well, I'm glad you stayed. Yep. Very good. Good.
And I assume you're a casual moviegoer because you haven't seen any.
I'm just here to hang out with you guys. This could really be about any topic. I don't really care for movies much.
And I'm guessing the movie that taught you what movies could be is Indiana Jones.
It's Crusade. Probably true.
It's on my list for reasons. Yeah.
For
that's
what
the
list?
Spielberg.
Oh yeah, the Spielberg.
That's certainly one that's near and dear to my heart.
Any movie that can take me out of reality.
Any movie that makes you forget your awful children and husband.
Then I'm there.
I get it.
And that's why I'm here. But honestly, the thing I think that more than anything is this has been really fun for just building community. Even beyond this room, and when I see people respond to your reviews and when people participate in the games and whatever, I don't think I'd stick around, but it's really fun to see everybody so excited. I love seeing people excited and passionate about something.
I love seeing people like your Letterboxd reviews because I feel like everybody else is I think everybody's so happy you liked Suspiria, and that made me feel really good.
I felt
you
good
liking
too.
Suspiria made my week.
My 3.5 star review really sent it over the top, but no, I think very, very interesting background. So the last question I'll go to, this is a little bit for everybody. Also, if Tim knows any Filmstruck exclusive films that one should jump on before its demise, it would be appreciated to broadcast that information over the air.
So Filmstruck, as we all know, is going away on November the 29th. We are all very sad because Filmstruck is this wonderful compendium of...
Could it come back?
It will, in a different form. God knows what that form will be. Basically what happened is that Warner's just recently got purchased by AT&T. AT&T wants to monetize Warner's streaming library in a different way, and Filmstruck is basically half Warner stuff, a third Warner stuff, a third TCM stuff, but that third is really Warner stuff, and then a third the Criterion Collection. So what's really terrifying is the Criterion Collection streaming is going away because the Warner streaming stuff is going to show up someplace, probably by the end of next year. So Criterion has a lot of stuff, much of which is on disc. So that stuff I'm not going to consider exclusive. the stuff that is kind of rare-ish and worth checking out, there's a lot of Japanese cinema going on right now on Filmstruck. And in particular, my pre-November 29th viewing binge list has a lot of Ozu and Narusa films on it. So I'd say if you're interested in classic Japanese cinema, that's where you should focus all of your attention. There's also a really amazing silent film called A Page of Madness that I watched about a week ago that I just head over heels loved. But yeah, so I'd say check out a lot of that Asian stuff. They have so much Japanese films. They're not ever going to get all of them out on discs. So that's where I would start my binge.
Working your way.
Especially if you don't know a lot of Ozu. Like, he is one of the greats. He's a very warm, humane filmmaker who tells really great character stories. So I feel he's one of those filmmakers who has a really distinct style, but everybody can and should love him. So I'd say start with some of the Ozu.
Okay.
Good tip.
Thanks.
No, thanks again, Sting, for that. Also want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on the Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here were the things that were purchased. Some additional Darwinism, Charles Darwin, a biography, Volume 2, The Power of Place.
Have you read it?
Well, I haven't read Volume 1 yet, and I don't want to be lost.
That's true.
Also had some health and personal care items, some home mold and mildew remover, gel stain remover.
Got to get rid of that.
Got to
mold.
get in the showers. Yeah. Oh, if you don't do the squeegee,
yeah, Rob.
I squeegee every post every shower.
In the corners.
I get the corners. By the way, I was inspired by one of our last purchases that someone made. I did get the dishwasher cleaner and the laundry machine cleaner per your tips.
You know, I thought when I walked into your house, it didn't smell as rank as it usually does. That must be why.
So yeah, I appreciate these purchases help me learn. Also had some the women and men's vitamin deficiency vitamins for the hair, skin, and nails. Like you get the you get the Hair and You vitamins.
D, yep.
Whatever that one is.
Lots of D.
On Kindle ebook, The Hate You Give. Someone maybe reading up for the
getting ready for the motion
release.
picture.
That was me.
Oh, it was you.
All right.
It was for my book club over the weekend.
Say it makes it seem less impressive that we have
how
people
many
buying
episodes
things.
have I ever said that? And this is the first purchase.
Well, thank
I've
you for
ever had.
clicking through on the site, Kara.
You're welcome. It was actually very difficult.
It was difficult to do it.
It was it logged me into your Amazon, and then I was had
So
to log
error.
out and had to change the password.
I ended up going to my office to try and buy something through our Amazon site rather than to do it on my own computer. So hopefully, if I hear it, I'll tell you.
Okay. All
Or
right.
I won't tell you because I don't want everyone, I'm not like Carrie, I don't want people to know what I bought, but I'll give you a big old wink.
You'll know.
We had some Blu-rays purchases. This might be you, Tim. Godzilla, King of Monsters, a little Gojira.
That was me too.
Yeah. Now I'm not.
It's a great film. I've owned it for years.
Okay. Titanic, that's got to be Tim. 4-disc combo.
Oh, wink.
Carrie loves herself a little Titanic, though.
I do.
Yeah, that's the 3D version of Titanic. I mean, whoever bought it bought the 3D version.
Nice.
And I hope they enjoy it.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Wink.
Yeah, little Cameron.
Well, I had to buy Terminator 2 for
How
class.
do you not own that already?
Because every Blu-ray version is shitty, including the one I bought, but I needed to watch it for class. And I was like, well, if every version is shitty, I might as well buy the least shitty version.
I see.
And then when I was buying that, I was like, ooh, you know what Cameron film I don't own? Is the Titanic.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought you were joking this whole time. Okay, good. Amazon Instant Video had Death Dream, or AKA Dead of the Night. Not familiar with that
Why
property.
did you think I was joking?
I don't know.
Titanic's a great film.
We would assume
Good.
you already had it.
Yes. Yeah, that too. Also had Toy Story 3 on Amazon Instant Video.
It's a really good one.
And the 1969 The Italian Job.
Oh, nice.
Well, when we get back, our top 5 movies, we or one of
Somebody.
those, that we wish we live in. And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about the top 5 movies I wished I lived in. Care, what movie do you want to just wrap yourself up in?
Like a blanket?
Like a blanket.
Oh,
and
man.
just enter into.
Like a shawl.
Yeah.
So many of them, but I had to narrow it down. This week was a little bit tough. So prepping for the episode this week, usually what I do every week is I write down the first ones that come to my mind immediately without looking through any lists or prepping or whatever. So it's my go-to instinct list. So the weird thing for this week, I don't know what your lists are going to look like. Go-to instinct, The Saint and Titanic. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, I had to sit back and be like,
So you want to have sex with Val Kilmer and Leo DiCaprio?
100%.
That's your
every
criteria.
day.
Yeah.
But then I had to walk myself back. And I was like, okay, really? Do you want to live in Titanic? Like maybe parts of it, maybe the car, but not
Not the part where they're
Not
being
the
like
water
inundated
death.
with ice cold water and drowning.
The death of old people and
where the
small
man
children.
who just had sex within a car freezes and dies and falls to the bottom of the
I
ocean.
decided at the end of the day that wasn't ideal. The Saint, I don't actually know why that came off my list now that I think about it, but it's not there.
So you'd love to live in that world.
I'd love to
the
be
Saint world.
the Saint world
Also
where it was
cold.
like he was helping me and he was like secretive and cool and like mysterious guy, that kind of guy. So anyway, so then from there I went into like exactly what you just said. I was like, I want to crawl into the lives of the characters, and I had to, for the purpose of this, I don't know, this is a nuance. I don't know if you guys did this. I had to view a character. I couldn't just be another character that wasn't in there. I had to sort of like pick out a character that I wanted to be.
Interesting.
Did you guys kind
I
of
did
do
not
that?
go that way.
No, okay.
No.
Because
Although I feel like in some ways that's truer to the letter of the statement
That's what I
Louisiana
tried.
I lived in.
So I tried to replace. I had to want to be somebody that was in there.
Okay.
So for me, it was all about like worlds that are in all ways appealing. So like there's a lot of films that like they're beautiful, they're exciting. There's a lot of stuff that I'd love to interact with, like Star Wars, for example. Like that would be a cool universe to live in. But then the question comes up like, but there's lots of ways you can die in that universe. So that was a big thing for me is it just like the
Propensity for death.
The world is cool, but also like the Harry Potter films that triggered this, like I wouldn't want to live in there because like all sorts of bad shit happens.
But you could be that guy that like sort of like hides in the corner but still has a wand,
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. But so one of the things that made mine a challenge was I ended up going with, you know what? I don't want movies that have like pronounced conflict. Which is tricky.
This is unusual
because
for you.
movies have conflict. That's what makes them movies. But I came up with a list that I think I'm really, really happy with. And
This is telling.
Not even because of the limitations. Like my films are all very conflict light.
And you are a passive person.
Not a lot of ways you could die. Not a lot of damaging things. It's like when you have children and you like tape all the cabinets shut and you like put plastic in all of the outlets. Like it is, you can't damage yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
interesting. So I actually very much like Tim, was concerned about my own safety.
Your own welfare.
Because
Interesting.
there are a lot of worlds I love, but I don't think I'd make it very
Or like
long.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I would love to tour the Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
But I would be eaten by an orc in like 3 days.
Yep.
What if you were an orc though?
But then I would be an orc.
Or you could be
So
Treebeard.
it's the ones I wished I lived in. So I put myself in that world.
Yeah.
And if there was less survivability, even if I liked it as a world building, it moved down my list. So that was the ranking was affected by the likelihood of my survival, and then I also knocked off points if it was adapted to the screen versus made for the screen, because I'm trying to reward movies that were movies to begin with, I guess.
All right.
Because
I don't know why.
like an aforementioned Harry Potter, for example, it's really the author, J.K. Rowling, is all of her ideas being brought to life versus it was brought to life specifically for the screen. So I don't know. It was like
I
a
get
weird,
that, but I also feel like there's a
thing.
pretty distinct difference between reading about like, oh, there are wands
And
and
bringing
yada, yada,
it
yada,
to-
and then see.
Not saying I
Yes.
disqualified it. I
Yeah,
just moved
okay.
it lower on the
Lower
list
in
if
the
it
list.
was not written for the screen.
I expected you would have a little more sense of adventure, man.
There is adventure because, like Tim, I can't think. Then it became the bubble wrap. Then it's not as interesting of a world. So then I'm.
See, but risk of death is exciting.
I took Wizard of Oz off my list because the witch is scary.
Okay. So this will probably be the episode that most depicts our own personalities. Would you say
Yes.
that to be true?
Yes.
All right. I'm nervouser.
I am
More
very
nervouser?
upset at the
More
thought
nervous.
that that's true, and it probably is.
That's right. So Tim, Care Bears is first on your list?
Care Bears is 1st through 5th on
Except
my
there's
list.
that grouchy one,
Oh, I
know
better
you
redo
don't
my
like the grumpy
list.
Care Bears. So all right. So let's start it off with my first one that I want to live in. I had to start off with my animation pick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to pick any Disney animation to live in, which would you pick?
None of them are real scary.
That's true. Mine is the least scary of these, but I have decided to go with A Whole New World.
That popped in my head.
Did it?
Yeah, before you said
They
something.
cut off your hand if they don't like your face.
I
It feels kind of like it'd be hot too, like
Like
with all the
sexy?
sand. No, just
Oh.
temperature wise, and I don't like hot.
okay.
Yeah. That's not a world.
But now you have a
enjoy.
genie to make it whatever you want. I can go have like an island paradise because I have a magical genie. All I wanted after I saw Aladdin was to be Jasmine. I was her for Halloween, even though I was very chunky at the time. I like hiked it up so that you couldn't see my midsection. And I wore like a little wig, wanted to be her, had a crush on a guy in 5th grade that sang the Aladdin song for like 10 years afterwards. I wanted to be in
I
this
have
movie.
bad news about the guy you had a crush on. He was self-evidently gay.
Who?
The guy who sang the Aladdin song for 10 years after that. Or that's not what you were saying.
No.
I
The
misunderstood.
guy in my school who sang, he got up in front of the whole school.
Okay, that's what
Yeah,
Tim's
he was
saying.
gay.
He was gay? How do you know?
Because he sang the Aladdin song in front of the whole school.
He had a turban and white sweatpants. It was so cute.
I'm kind of with Tim now on this. The more you, the
Yeah,
more
I
you go
know.
into it.
Now that you're saying it.
Did he also kiss men in front of you?
I don't discredit him for that. I'd still go for it. But I loved Aladdin. Did you know that Aladdin is played by Steve Weinger?
I know.
He is the boyfriend,
He is
Steve,
the harmless boyfriend from Full House.
from Full House.
Oh.
DJ's boyfriend plays Aladdin.
Interesting.
Who knew?
Doesn't do the singing.
I don't know.
No.
Probably
No,
not.
Yeah,
No.
I forget who
okay.
does the singing.
Okay.
But yeah, riding carpets all day.
I
every
gotta
day.
say, Jasmine, not ahead of its time maybe, but one of the more empowered Disney female
the
characters
way
earlier
in the fumbling way Disney was trying to do feminism in the early 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she kind of
This is it for me.
she didn't allow Aladdin to do what he was doing.
didn't- yeah, exactly.
She didn't take his crap.
She wasn't allowing me to get too handsy.
Yeah.
That's true. So yeah, Aladdin. Want to be it. Want to be
Okay.
Jasmine.
A little too hot for me.
On the carpet.
A little too hot on the
Sexy.
desk.
So,
All right.
so mine is also an animated film.
Okay.
Not a Disney film because there's too much harsh edges in too many of those films. Like
Toy Story.
like in Toy Story, they don't get along. They're not friends.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And the dog like bites at you, and it's very scary.
Okay.
And in Dumbo, like
Sad.
the
The
clowns are
mom.
very scary,
Yeah.
and it's sad. And
It's
in
sad.
Bambi, his mom gets shot.
That's true. I heard. My mom said she was just injured though. But anyway.
No, she's dead,
No.
and she was ground up and turned into venison sausage.
No, she
and
wasn't.
people ate her.
I have no idea what movie you're going to say.
My movie is from a different country altogether.
All right.
From a filmmaker whose thing is kind of films that don't have bad guys.
Cotton Balls and Rainbows.
Films that don't have real conflicts. The conflicts are all out of sort of misunderstandings. And this one doesn't even have that. This one doesn't even have misunderstandings. This is 1988's Miyazaki film, My Neighbor Totoro,
Oh.
which is
Good pick. Good
all
pick.
about, so it's about a world in which nature is embodied. Like the natural world has sapience, it has extensions of itself, which are the Totoros or other magical beings, and that natural world is entirely loving and kind.
So do you want to be the fluff ball or what do you want to
I
be?
want to be the little girl who sits on the fluff ball's belly and goes up and down while he's breathing. That's what I want to be.
I'm picturing you that now.
That's very safe.
It is
very
safe.
safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It like I said, it's a film about how the natural world has these physical beings that embody nature, and they love you and they want you to be happy.
Yeah.
And I find that very cozy and comforting.
Very comforting.
It's
Okay.
like, because, the idea that the world is not red in tooth and claw, but that it is full of love.
This is a legit pick. That's a good one.
That's solid. Not on my list.
Also, it's a world in which fathers can be naked in a tub with
We
their
know you
daughters,
like
and
that.
it's not even a thing.
I
Yeah.
do. I replicate that almost 100%, except I wear the board shorts.
We know
Or
about
the
your
undies
suit.
Into
Yeah.
into the tub with the
All right,
girls.
give us your 5.
My 5 was
Oh
actually my
gosh.
number 1 earlier, but as I mentioned, I moved it down because it was not a.
It was adapted.
Yes, it was adapted for the big screen. But I've always wanted to be a wizard.
Okay.
So a world that I would like to live in, despite
Gandalf?
some of the challenges. Nope, I'm talking about Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Of course, and now I can go to Universal and go
And
live
do
in,
it.
and actually go live in his world and have some butter beer or whatever it is and live up the Harry Potter life.
Who would you be? Ron
I'd be
Weasley.
Harry Potter.
You're Ron Weasley.
No, but you asked me who would I like to be?
Actually, you're
I'd like
kind
to
of
be
that. Who's that little sniveling one?
Neville?
No. Who's the guy in the first one with the white hair, short hair, white short hair?
Oh, Draco Malfoy.
You're kind of Draco Malfoy.
Draco Malfoy.
That's not nice.
I think a little bit.
Really?
You're kind of sneaky.
You're so
I
much
don't-
more a Neville Longbottom than
Thanks,
you are.
man. I appreciate
a
it.
Neville
Yeah.
Longbottom.
So no, who doesn't want to go
True.
riding on a broomstick?
True.
I mean, yeah, I would play Quidditch. I would drink butter beer.
Yep.
But there are snakes.
Yep. There are.
And there are
yeah.
ghosts.
I know. I don't.
But they're
again,
nice ghosts, but they're still ghosts.
Likelihood survivability for me very low, especially towards the end of the films.
Is there a particular film whose embodiment of the universe you find particularly appealing?
the first one where it established? Like I like origin stories.
I hate the first 2 films relative to the rest of the series, but they are definitely the ones that present the most enfolding, lovable version of the world.
And they get the details right, just in the expression of what was on the page, and they focus on the details. Like every little thing, there's a reason for it, and I just appreciate that. You'll see that throughout all of my movies is directors' attention to detail, or the writers, I guess, or both, the combination of the two. So that was my number 5.
Alrighty.
Number 4 you get.
Number 4 to me, because clearly I'm the only one in this whole room here who has a zest for life and adventure, and I really think some of the men in this are really smoking. So I would be.
I was going to have a list that was 5 porns.
Magic Mike.
I know. I thought you might. The one I picked is I would love to be Sam Gamgee.
Okay.
All right.
I would. And I picked Lord of the Rings.
All right.
Because this is your Harry Potter. This is my version, only I step it up a notch, where I'm like willing to maybe get eaten by an orc to save my friends.
You'd go on that journey.
I'd go on that journey in a heartbeat. If somebody needed my help to get the ring, for
Like
sure.
a long walk.
I would be Fatty Lumpkin. I would be the one who would wave as they left, and then I would quietly go back to drink and eat and die a fat happy hobbit.
Rob thinks much to my detriment. If anybody is ever like, if there's a sense that somebody needs assistance, that I'm like obnoxiously at the door. Like
she is Sam. You are Sam Gamgee, so that's the
Yeah.
right pick as far as characters that you would play that you would embody. So that's true. That's true to form.
I would have loved to go on that adventure, or be one of those little elves, or the people with the pointy ears. I would have. They're just kind of pretty.
Yeah, they are very pretty.
Yeah. So I would have wanted to be one of those.
Same question. Is there a particular film in the trilogy that most expresses the world that you like?
2.
All right.
I think, because I love Treebeard.
Okay.
I love.
So you want to? So would you rather not then be Merry or Pippin, so you could ride around with Treebeard?
I've thought about it, but they're so.
They are. They're shitty.
Yeah, I think
they're
that's exactly.
shitty little assholes.
No, so I think so. Maybe fitting, possibly also fitting. But I love when you think that you're down and you think you're going to lose. And I love when some sort of unexpected hero comes in any story. So when those badass trees come in, that's peak for me. Peak movie.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about Lord of the Rings, but I would not
So
make
good.
it. I would not make it.
No, you would
not
die.
much for walks.
Yeah.
So
In the cold. You don't
Yeah.
really like the cold.
I don't want to go on a journey.
And people with not a lot of hair. Like I feel like Gollum, you'd be like, ugh, I don't want to hang out with Gollum.
I'm not like discriminatory against
I think you would
hairless
be.
people.
You'd be like, you're a little creepy.
I wish I was one.
gotta go.
It's just from a wish that I too was hairless.
So you would be
true.
Gollum if you could be
I
the
would be
character.
gone. Yeah. Just for the hairlessness.
Just the 3 on the top. So that's my number 4.
So that was shot, of course, in New Zealand, that trilogy of movies. Mine is going to take us a little way across the ocean over to Australia,
All right.
where there is a farm.
All right.
And this farm sort of represents the world in a way. And it is a world in which kindness is the most valorized of all human emotions.
All right.
And in which the most kind being is also the bravest and wisest and best being, and everyone else loves him.
Sure.
And his name is Babe.
Wait, Babe the pig?
1995's Babe.
Babe dies.
Babe does not die.
Babe doesn't Babe get...
That's certainly not. Babe herds the sheep.
I thought
And
Babe
everyone
gets
applauds him.
Yeah. What
And
would
then
you
the
see?
farmer looks down and says, "That'll do, pig."
That'll do.
And then the pig looks up at him.
I think your
And
mom
that's how
lied
it
to you.
ends.
I think he dies and your mom said
His
that he
mom
didn't.
dies.
Oh, that's what it is.
At the start of the film, and then Babe goes to the farm
It's kinda
and makes
sad.
everyone happier and better from the neurotic animals.
But doesn't his orphanism make you sad?
It does. I
Yeah.
didn't eat bacon for like 15 months after I saw Babe for the first time. And I still, when I see Babe, it's like another
You
2
feel
months.
bad
Every
about
single
it,
time I
yeah.
see it, I go off pork for like
Yeah.
at least a couple months.
I can see that.
But it's a universe in which kindness wins.
This is your weirdest list so far, I think. I did not expect Babe.
You wouldn't want to live at that.
No.
You wouldn't want to live in the Hoggett
It looks
farmhouse.
nice.
I don't
Makes
like
me
the, I
happy.
don't like
It's
the
so
threat of
cozy and
animal death.
sweet.
It could things could
Animals
die at any
don't
day.
die.
They could get slaughtered though, and you don't really know.
But they don't,
Yeah.
because Babe saves them.
That's true.
That's Babe.
Very
Babe would do
nice.
that. Not on your list, Rob.
Not on my list. Yeah, we're
not gonna have any
We're
overlap.
maybe Carrie. I might
thought
pick
Lord
up
of the
one. I might
Rings,
pick up
maybe.
one on Carrie a little
All right.
bit. I don't expect this one to be this next one is actually one of my favorite movies of all time. Its world is virtual in a lot of ways because that's actually the world that I would like to get plugged into. I'm talking about 1999's The Matrix.
All right.
I'm all Joey Pants. I want
Joey Pants?
Joey Pantaleone. I don't know if it's an O at the end. But this one stars Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Lawrence Fishburne, Joey Pants. I'm Joey Pants. I want to get back into the Matrix. I want the wool pulled over my eyes. I'm fine. I just want to taste.
Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
So he's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
He's the bad guy in the first Matrix.
He's the bad guy. But that would be, I don't want to live in that cold world. I want to be, or unless I'm Keanu Reeves plugging into the Matrix and I have all those abilities, then I'm cool. I don't want to live outside of the Matrix. I'd want to be thriving in the Matrix using my superhuman gifts.
I would want to be like morally bad version of Keanu Reeves, so I was in the Matrix but had the powers.
That's exactly right. And that's
I would want to be the version of
Keanu
Keanu Reeves that Agent Smith was trying to make him be. I'd want to be Agent Smith.
Yes,
that's who I would want to be.
Agent Smith, yeah.
Or Joey Pants.
Well, it doesn't end well for Joey. Actually,
speaking of Agent Smith, I just want to point out Hugo Weaving, Lord of the Rings, Babe, and The Matrix.
Oh my goodness.
It all comes together.
This was our Hugo Weaving round. Very exciting.
Totally intentional.
Yes. So that one is on the top 18 of IMDb's. Won 4 Oscars. So yeah, good flick. I would like to be in The Matrix and control the Matrix.
All right.
Or maybe Fishburne. You know what? I'd want to be Fishburne.
Oh man, so many characters.
Because then you're like Keanu, but you're better and smarter.
Yeah. But he's the one.
I would never be in that movie.
Does Joey Pants live?
I don't think so. I think he dies in 2.
Okay. I don't remember.
Maybe he dies in 3. He dies in one of them.
He made it through the first. Okay.
So you want to be in the one he makes it.
I just want to live in the virtual world that I could control. I want to upload my consciousness to virtual reality and then just kind of
just hang out.
I just remembered one I left off the list.
I was going to say, so Matrix over Tron is my question in this moment.
I was thinking that he was going to say Tron.
No, the one I was just thinking of that it's no longer applicable is What Dreams May Come. I also like that movie. That's a world.
That movie is hell.
I know, but I like that
it's
world.
It's literally going to hell.
What about Wreck-It Ralph?
That's where
you want to go to hell.
No, I want to go to where Robin Williams is.
You want to go to the heaven part.
The heaven part.
Okay.
Because it's like the Matrix. He kind of just designs it however he wants it. So anyway.
Too toothy for my tastes. I need again.
Fluff.
I need Babe.
Okay.
Babe and Fluff. Actually, I think this one could have made your list, and maybe it does, based on your criteria. So this one, I bring you the magical story of 5 kids who embark on a tour through a mystical, magical, edible world. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I thought about this one.
Did you?
Except I've been trying to not eat sugar.
Oh, God. But with the purposes of this, I'm more of a salty than a sweet too. But still, when I first saw this, I remember being like, how can I go to a place where like you reach down and the mushroom is made of whipped cream? Like to be in a world that's so magical like that.
A world of pure imagination.
Pure imagination. I wanted to lick wallpaper so bad after that.
You can. You can go upstairs and lick wallpaper right now.
I could, but you know what?
Smear some honey on your walls.
It's going to taste probably like the boogers that my kids smear on there, and less ideal than the snozberries. So
nice pick.
Chocolate Rivers. Oh my gosh.
I will say the boat scene would probably
the boat scene was
that's
freaky.
where I would
when he jumped out of the boat.
I'd bail at the
you could have
boat
been
scene.
Augusta Galloop, and you could have just gotten sucked up the tube and never had to go in the boat.
Yeah, I would have rethought my choice to be in the movie once I saw kids slowly disappearing.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but
I don't think I'd make it to the end.
I would totally have been Charlie though. So like
Charlie,
pure of heart. I would not.
It's not even pure of heart. I'm too rules oriented. If someone tells me don't do this, I won't do it. Fundamentally.
I would have been Violet.
Oh yeah, you would have been. Yeah, you're so whiny. Yeah, you're right. I would have been Gene Wilder. Or maybe kind of an Oompa Loompa, maybe.
I mean, I would have been either an Oompa Loompa or Charlie. I don't think I would have been Gene Wilder.
Yeah, probably not. He's too cool. So anyway, that's my number 3.
Nice.
So my number 3, unlike my other picks, takes place in something that's more or less the real world, but a very candy-colored, imaginative interpretation of the real world. Specifically to set in Paris, which is, of course, the city in the actual world as it stands that I would most like to live in, even though I've never been there. Because if I had ever been to Paris, I think I would have jumped my tourist visa and just like stayed there, like living in like alleys and just sucking in the beauty that is Paris. But so this movie is Amélie, the Jean-Pierre Jeunet film starring Audrey Tautou as Amélie Poulain, who is someone who sees the world in its most beautiful way. And this includes a version of Paris that is not free of suffering and is not free of human misery, but she has sort of found a way to find what is beautiful and good and uplifting about all of life. And so we see Paris through her eyes. It's this very colorful, very warm, very romantic, lovely picture postcard version of the most like storied, beautiful city in the world. And partially I want to live in the Paris she sees, and I want to be able to see the world the way she sees it. So that's kind of my like two-part why that is the film.
So you say this are these picks, which are very heavily on the happy-go-lucky side,
Yes.
a balance of your own personal cynicism? Like
I would
you
say
wanna
that I would like to live in a world that does not resemble the one we do, because the one we do, I feel extremely cynical.
I know you do. So it's a escape.
It's
These movies are escape.
Absolutely.
Okay.
For me, the movies I would like to
too.
live in are the ones that feel
Not like
most
this.
distant from the one in which I exist.
Okay.
I could use a little bit more Amelie in my life, my personal life as well too. Just kind of looking on the bright side of things. Mine are darker. Mine are a little darker. The number 3 is a world much not unlike the Matrix, where I'd like to be able to go and control things. I like a world where I could go into my dreams and kind of
Eternal Sunshine.
manage them. No, close.
Inception?
Talking about Inception.
I'd love. This is like.
a
Do you pick this
world
for like
that I'd live
every
in.
list?
No, it's not on every list.
You love this
is a
movie.
world I'd love to go in and manipulate and control and fold cities at my will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a control thing. I think
I know. I think we're
I'm building
uncovering
on,
some
I'm
things
building
here.
on that.
Yeah.
Number 14 movie on IMDb, 4 Oscars. Love this movie. It's on our wall.
I do feel like the Harry Potter to Matrix to Inception describes a very similar arc that Totoro to Babe to Amelie does.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It ended up being what Carrie was suspecting, is that it'll say, I think, a lot about all of us.
For the better or for the worse. So my number 2 is one that is sort of I wanted to have like my dream romance on here. And so, or my like happy romance on here.
Your romance that doesn't end with the boy you love falling to the bottom of the sea, frozen and dead.
Exactly. So this was my swap out for Titanic. And so, you know what I actually came to was Serendipity.
When you say came to serendipity.
Came to?
Yes.
I got to?
So it's your ideal romance, so you came to it.
Oh,
He was speaking of the orgasm variety.
come on.
I'm using a euphemism.
Serendipity's like, it's real life.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
No, but so had I met you, like I really, really do believe in kismet. Like I believe in fate, just in life in general. Like I think we meet people for certain reasons and we encounter people and things happen because they're meant to happen, so that there's this butterfly effect of like, that causes the next thing to happen. And I think they all happen in an order and whatever. And so I loved this movie for that, like the idea of chance and things happening at the right time. So in this movie, if you haven't seen it, it's Kate Beckinsale and John Cusack.
Yeah.
And it's it's a chance encounter. They meet, and basically it's not good timing for her. She throws a 5 spot in a book with her name and number on it and is like, if it happens, it happens. And I just love that, the idea of that. Like, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I wanted to be in that. I wanted to be Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, so you like the plot.
I like the plot.
The world is still our world.
It's the world that facilitates that plot, though.
And that's why I think
Yeah.
a better pick for you, I think, would have been Timer.
Timer.
The movie that you love so much about a
I did like
similar,
Timer.
but it's a different world.
But that's the thing. I don't want to live in that world, because that world feels very deterministic.
This is New York. It's nice.
That's
it's,
true.
I like New York.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Serendipity, but I feel like I like this pick. I feel like
good.
living inside your favorite romantic comedy is a totally legit choice.
Totally. Yeah. I wanted it to be like, it means
Except
something
my
that we
favorite
ended up
romantic
together.
comedy is Annie Hall, and I don't want to live in Annie Hall.
Yeah, that would be very
It
depressing.
would be the worst romantic comedy to live inside.
So yeah, that's my number 2.
Good pick, Care. Number 2 to you, Tim.
So I'm just going to keep right on with my sanded off the edges baby movies. So this is a film. So Babe is set in a sort of very vivid but very storybook setting. Totoro is set in, in an animated fantasy world. Amelie is set in a sort of it's Paris but like abstracted. We are now getting to a film that it takes place on sets. You look at this movie and you're like, oh, that's a studio lot. And it feels like it, and that's what I love about it. It's this very artificial world full of interesting colors, interesting shapes, interesting people. And again, sort of the point of this movie is that we have our disagreements, we have conflicts, but ultimately everybody can get along, everybody can have fun, everybody can embrace the sort of childlike joy of going out and flying a kite. This is 1964's Mary Poppins.
Interesting. I was wondering if someone would pick this.
The story of 2 very dear little children whose dad, Mr. Banks, He's not a very
Kinda
good
distant,
dad.
yeah.
He's not a very good dad.
Sad.
So a magical nanny, Mary Poppins, comes out of the clouds. And who doesn't want to live in a world where magical nannies come out of the clouds?
I'd live there.
I'd live there. So she comes and she shows the children how to like use their imaginations and have fun and just like play. And like all the world becomes a playground here. Like the slums become a playground, you know, singing with beggars becomes a playground, like dancing on like chalk drawings is a playground. And then when she's shown this to the children, she shows it to the dad. And that's really where it becomes a movie that I want to live in, where like an asshole banker who doesn't like his kids or wife can be redeemed by just being
Does he have a wife?
Yeah.
There's a wife in there.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she's a
Mrs. Bates.
suffragette.
Oh, okay. Okay. Who are you? Are you Mary Poppins?
Oh.
Or you're kind of a chimney
I'm
sweep.
probably Jane Banks, the little girl.
Oh, okay.
I think
okay.
she's not as much of an idiot as the boy is.
Is it less idiot? Okay.
But yeah, so like that's the thing. It's just
That's
like
a good pick.
it's a world that you can manipulate everything with your imagination, which is our world, to
Yep.
be fair. But it's a world that sort of already gives you a leg up on that by being itself such an imaginative, like a little music box diorama. Like it doesn't feel real. You watch that movie, it does not look like reality. It looks like the sets at Disney's studio. But I like that about it because it sort of already transports you, but in like a small way.
A definite theme across across your list. Seeing the world better. I like
Through
it.
rose-colored
Yeah.
glasses.
Yes.
I like
All
it.
right.
Mine is a really beautiful world that it took the director and writer of this movie, I don't know, like over a decade to come up with this. And I don't know when we're going to get the sequels to this thing. But it's the beautiful world where the Na'vi live.
Oh,
In
okay.
Pandora.
Yeah.
Which also you can now go visit
You sure can.
in Disney.
So Florida is the world you want to live in.
Yes, Florida's apparently where all the
The
theme parks.
greatest state of them all.
I think based on recent events, I don't think you want to go.
We're
there,
not
but yeah.
gonna. I hate to break it to you, Carrie. I tried to get the fast pass for the Pandora
Yeah.
thing. Didn't work out. So
Rob,
we're not gonna go see the.
I don't
we're
know
not
if you
gonna
know
see
this,
the
but
Na'vi.
Rob is our resident trip planner. I hate planning anything vacation, so I don't actually know what Rob's talking about, but fast
And I-
pass.
we weren't able to get it
that
because
would be
you weren't
at
able
least-
to make the decision.
At least go and walk around
Yeah.
the space. Like
Okay.
even if you can't go on the rides.
Okay. Because I want to go there.
Where is that at?
Beautiful nature.
It's at Animal Kingdom in Disney
Animal
World.
Kingdom. Okay.
Yes, it was where I was trying to get us there, Carrie. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But I can live vicariously through the movie in a place that I wish I lived in. I wish I lived in Pandora. It seems awesome. I don't know if I'd want to be a
I can tell you, it's
Na'vi
like it's
or a
burned down, doesn't
surrogate
it?
Na'vi.
And I want to point out you haven't named the film yet.
Oh yeah, Avatar. So Avatar. Yeah, and the reason I say we're not, when's the sequel? What's happening?
I think,
why
I
is
think
it taking so long?
2020 looks good.
Oh my goodness.
But why do you want to live there? You
Because
want to live there pre-destruction.
I love the Na'vi philosophy. I love the Dances with Wolves theme that they've got going on there, where everything's in touch with nature.
I think
and
the Dance
things,
with Wolves theme is the bad part about it, right?
No, I'm saying that the
there's
Na'vi are
both
peaceful.
they're the people who live in peace
Yeah.
with the world around them.
And then people come in to destroy
That's
it.
why I thought about this one.
The world I like is them as a people and what their philosophy on life is, and like the whole scene where again they kill an animal because it's okay, but to survive and but they respect it in the way that they do it. Like I love
What do
all
they
that.
eat?
I forget what they chased down, but they killed something and she puts it out of its misery, and it
Oh, I
was
thought they were vegetarian.
maybe it wasn't to eat. Perhaps it was something.
Perhaps it was just for the pleasure of killing.
Animal
pleasure of killing.
sacrifice.
That sounds like the Na'vi.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like everything about them, and I love their world.
thought about
It's
this.
beautiful.
Even with the military conflict aspect, I almost put this on my list. I should have. We would have had the only overlap. of
Only
this
overlap.
episode.
There's still hope for one.
There's
more.
no hope.
But
There is
I'm
no
excited
hope.
to see
We're
the
down.
sequel.
I think we might line up.
You and I won't.
No, for sure.
For sure.
Okay. Rob and I maybe.
No, I don't think. I think I know what your number one is, but
I don't think you do.
sure.
I mean, I wouldn't want to live in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That's what I
but
was thinking.
I get why you would.
But would you want to live in Raiders of the Last Crusade?
What? Did you just combine movies?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. So I chose Raiders of the Last Crusade because I couldn't decide, because here's why. I want to be Marion. I don't want to be Elsa.
See, this is
and I don't want to
turning
be
into
Marcus
characters-
Brody.
Characters I wish I was instead of.
No, it's not, but I'm going to, I had to identify that and then place myself into the movie.
So in the world, you'd like to live in 1940s World War II
They all
area.
take place in
Totally.
33. They all take place in the 30s.
30s,
yeah,
30s, excuse me.
I was just going
None
with
of them
you.
take place in
See, I was
33.
just
I don't know if
agreeing
they're
with you
33.
because I was thinking about what I wanted to say. So, but I also, I want to be, if I could be Indiana Jones' sidekick or love interest. So I would either be Marcus Brody, but I don't want to be a ninny like he is, or I would be Marion, but that's more of a dud movie.
See, here's my thing. I would want to be Short Round, but I would certainly not want to live in Temple of Doom.
Oh, that's a good call. That's a good call too. Oh, I could be
I
Short
love
Round.
Short Round.
Oh,
We dressed up Abby as Short Round. It was awesome.
awesome.
Yes.
So, but here's what I want to be a part of. I want to get in there. I want to kneel before God. I want to walk across that thing and then accidentally kind of step on the J for Jehovah, but it starts with an I, and I want my heel to kind of like, I want to be like,
So you want to go through an
toe to
obstacle
toe.
course.
You want to almost die
Yeah.
in an ancient cave in the desert.
Absolutely. And I want to walk across that invisible thing and like
is
test
interesting.
that leap of faith. I want to do that. I want to do it all.
Carrie is signed up for American Ninja Warrior, so she will have her day.
I don't know what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
but that whole movie, I want to like on the side of the tank, I want to be on a horse, and then I want to like jump on and then take a shovel
I do think
to
I
a
would,
Nazi's face.
if I had to live in an Indiana Jones, I think I'd rather live in Raiders, honestly.
Yeah, no, I think Last Crusade. I think I got to live in Last Crusade. I want to like watch somebody's face burn off when they pick the wrong cup of Christ.
But you can watch the
Yeah,
face
there's
burn
face
off when they
burning
open
off.
the ark.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But just with the cup of Christ, you know. I love.
Okay.
Come on.
It's not a world,
Who doesn't
it's
want to
not
be a part of this
yeah,
movie?
It's not really world building.
But then if you're Allison Doody, then you could have that kiss situation where like I could grab onto his lip and then do like the lip suck thing.
That's very sexy.
And I would do that every day. Right?
Nope.
Nope.
She falls into a chasm and dies.
So see, I just want to be lots of different people in
Sure.
these movies, but that's the movie I want to be
All right,
in.
okay.
Raiders of the Last Crusade.
That's it's no surprise.
Isn't it?
No,
oh,
it's not a
you
surprise.
thought that's
oh,
what
no,
I was going to
I
have?
knew you were gonna- Indiana Jones, yeah, of course. All right, Tim.
It's a little surprising to me just because I thought we had shamed her into never putting that on another list.
I checked back. It's been at least 45 episodes since I've used it.
Has
and
it
so
really?
It's been a while. So I
Wow.
felt good about using it
Because
again.
45 is like a year and change.
Yeah.
So mine is kind of not a cheat. I'm not going to use that word at all. I would like to live in the Star Trek universe. Of all fictional universes, I think it's far and away the one that would be the best to live in. There is no material want because they have those replicators, so you can make anything out of just the free-floating atoms in the air. There is no money. There is, if you are in the Federation, no conflict. Everyone likes everyone else. Everyone has found a way to like live in harmony with different cultures, different ethnicities, different species, and so on. So I'd like to live in Star Trek. The problem is the parts of Star Trek we see are all the military wing. So we see a lot of things getting blown up.
You don't want that.
We see a lot of things being like turned, like we see war, we see death, we see explosions. And you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live in a world that's full of that. I don't want to, again, my thing was I don't want to die.
Okay, don't die. How do you do that?
So I decided what is the most banal, boring, conflict-free story that has ever been told in Star Trek. The answer, I think 1998's Star Trek Insurrection, where they go to
What's an insurrection?
something that doesn't happen in the plot of Star Trek Insurrection.
I feel like there's a joke in there.
It's that the movie is very, very stupid
Okay.
and has no
But
rules.
nothing
It's a cool
happens.
word. That
Is
they
Spock
threw
in there?
Spock's not in there. This is a Next Generation era.
But it's hard because you're
It's a
Spock.
Picard. It's a Picard one.
I'm Picard.
You're Picard.
Oh,
Picard,
he's
balding,
definitely
and I
Picard.
like tea.
Does T, and he has a beard, doesn't he?
He does not. That's Riker.
Oh, right.
That's Riker. But yeah, so in Insurrection, what happens, the thing that is kind of an insurrection, they disobey orders because the orders are evacuate all of these people from this planet inside like a nebula. And the planet is full of people who, like there's 500 humans or 500 beings in the species. The nebula gives them basically eternal youth and vigor. And so they have decided we are going to live in eternal youth and vigor, but rather than exploit this, we are just going to like dedicate ourselves to thinking and to being happy and to perhaps looking at the field.
So this is why it was so boring and terrible?
It's so boring.
Yeah.
It's a shitty movie that I don't like watching. But of all incarnations of the Star Trek universe, it is the one that is the most placid and beatific. And the technology is there, but also like people who don't need to use the technology because they're so happy and well adjusted.
And you're not going to die.
And you're not going to die. You're also always going to be young and fit and pretty. And you get to make out with Donna Murphy. And everything about it is good.
It's good.
I remember it being like an addictive quality to want to be in that
A little
nebula
bit.
or
Well,
whatever it was.
because the villains are the ones who left because they were bad and they wanted to exploit. So then they aged and got all wrinkly and nasty and gross, but they want to come back because like they're so anxious to be forever.
Number one place
And you know
want
what?
to live.
It's interesting. I didn't know all of that background necessarily on the Star Trek universe of that there's no want and the atom. You just have whatever you want.
It is a perfect version of communism in that everybody shares everything and everybody's happy to do it. And there's no conflict, and there's no like shortages.
That's my dream. That's my dream too.
That's why I had to pick a Star Trek because like I want to live in Star Trek.
I feel like I need to
I
read
just
up
don't
on
want to have Klingons shooting disruptors at me because that would be scary.
Not on your list, Rob?
Not on my list. I've mentioned both my number 2 and my number 1 in the opening about directors who I said were played a pivotal role in me enjoying movies.
All right, let's see.
This is one where I like futuristic stuff.
All right.
So when I was a kid in 1988, this is the future
Flight of
that
the Navigator.
I thought was that I thought looked very interesting. Again, attention to detail here with 1988's Back to the Future 2.
I thought about Back to the Future.
Who doesn't want to escape the
I
hoverboard?
agree with this.
I'm still
100%.
waiting for the
get it.
hoverboard.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I don't know about 2, but I agree with Back to the Future.
2 is the one you
100%.
want to live in.
Do I?
The 2's 2015.
What's Under the Sea with the Enchantment Under the Sea? Is that 2?
That's one. And
Wow.
that's the 50s. That's just the 50s.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, but I
racial
love that.
segregation.
Oh, there is?
There's like
not
Cold War
ideal.
paranoia.
This is a future where you have all this gear. You have your sneakers that form fit. Like you're wearing multiple ties. I remember
You like
3
lots
ties.
of ties, yeah.
Yeah, it had an idea of
You
what
like
this
those
future would
sneakers,
look like.
yeah.
You get to drink Pepsi Retro Classic or whatever it's called,
right.
which indeed, if you've seen some of those like, hey, remember when Mountain Dew came in a bottle like this? It's basically that.
I just imagine the screenwriters like around the table like just pitching cool things
ideas.
about what 30 years into the future would look
You're
like.
really Michael J. Fox, too.
And,
I think so. I think you are
This
that.
is one where
That's the most you've of
this
anything
could
you
be
brought
me.
up. Yeah.
Kind of little bad boy.
I think of you as the Crispin Glover character.
Nice. Is he show up?
Spying on what? Well, he doesn't. He
cartoon?
didn't sign up for the sequels.
Yeah, I can't see.
So the
his,
character was shot from behind, so
Okay.
they could like hide his face.
I can't picture who that is.
That's the dad.
He's the dad in the first one.
Yeah.
And when I think of someone who like creeps on girls in a tree and then falls out and gets hit by a car, I
That's
think of
you.
Well, I'd either be him or his progeny for sure. Yeah. So either one really.
I
does
like
apply.
this pick. I thought about it and then somehow it flew off my radar, but it's an excellent pick.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the future the world that they built. I would live in that future. I'm sad to say that it has not come 100% to fruition with no hoverboards.
Sadly, the worst parts are the parts that exist in the hoverboards and the like jacket that dries itself.
Yes, dries itself, hydrating food.
Yep.
It's hydrating.
Pizza hydrator.
Yeah, pizza hydrator.
We have an
Love that.
overabundance of what's the Biffs? There's many
Well, that's
Biffs
the thing.
in
Like,
the world. Yeah.
like evil alternate 1985, where Biff like gives himself the ability to make infinite money. Do you know who evil alternate universe Biff was based on?
No.
The current resident of the White House.
Wait, are you being serious?
Oh yeah.
He was a parody of Donald Trump.
Let's go
did
watch Back
not
to the Future
know
2.
that.
You'll be like, oh my goodness, this called it. So then, if it got anything right,
That's what I'm saying. That's maybe why I didn't make my list, because I was like, we are living in Back to the
Very
Future 2.
sad.
We're living in the shitty Back to the Future
Yeah.
2.
someone's got to go get that sports book back.
Something.
God damn it. Well, every week we also ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. Based on the results, here were your top 5 picks. At number 5, we had this one I could see have been on your list. You mentioned flying kites, and this
Spirited
was actually
Away.
what popped in my mind was The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh.
Winnie the Pooh's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
Safe world.
I would like to live in Winnie the Pooh.
You would, Owl. You would.
No, if I were going to be a character, though, I'd be Pooh.
You'd want to be Pooh.
I'd want to be Pooh because
not everyone
you
can be
just
Pooh.
eat and you have no short-term memory or
Yeah.
long-term memory.
And it
So
fits,
you-
it fits that theme
compared me
about
to
seeing the
Pooh.
world. It fits
Thank
your
you.
theme of seeing the world at its best. Always making the best of situations. So, at number 4, a little half-animated, half-live-action movie with Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That would
Oh,
be
that's a
sweet
good pick.
world to live in. Minus the
Good
conflict
pick.
for Tim.
Good pick. There's some guns.
Judge Doom, he gets run over by a steamroller and then he
Then you
springs
could have
back up.
Jessica Rabbit as a love interest.
That would be sweet to
true.
live in a
She's
world where
smoking.
the animated characters were.
That would be
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
That was a good pick.
Also a Zemeckis film.
Another Zemeckis, yes, that's right. Tied for number 3 had The Lord of the Rings and Wizard of Oz, which Tim left off his list. At number 2,
Scary witches, scary trees.
At number 2, we also have Blade Runner, which
interesting.
another
Oh, I
future.
would certainly not want to live in Blade
Yeah,
Runner.
that one's
Kinda
I would
bleak.
not. Yeah, bleak.
Yeah.
Not happy. And at number 1, of course, Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
All right.
So this week's winner was MC Stefan, who had at number 5, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. At number 4, Hugo.
Okay, I would live in Hugo.
I don't know this number 3, Fanny and Alexander.
I would definitely not live in Fanny and Alexander.
At number 2, we had Ratatouille.
Oh, yeah.
A little foodie
God,
world
food.
there. Yeah, you would have liked that. And number 1, Before Sunrise. Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting pick.
So sort of like online with Carrie's, like,
My serendipity pick.
yeah, sort
Exactly.
of like a thing about, the person you want to be with in a beautiful city that looks beautiful.
MC Stefan, shoot us an email at contact@alternateending.com for details on how to claim your free Amazon movie rental. If you want to win a free Amazon movie like MC Stefan, be on the lookout for a spoiler or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, want to thank everybody for listening. Go out to our Facebook page and like it. Check out our Twitter where we're tweeting all the time, alternateending.com, where you'll find all of our movie reviews, podcasts, videos, and more. Check us out on YouTube. Appreciate all of the subscribers. We're almost getting up to that 100 subscriber list, so we'll be able to give out a free Amazon movie rental to those. Every time we get 100 subscribers, we'll be doling out an extra Amazon movie rental there. We are looking at...
You can't, like, become subscriber number 100 and then, like, unsubscribe and then resubscribe and then unsubscribe. Like,
shady.
It's like every time we hit a new 100 threshold.
Every new 100 threshold that's hit. And we're looking to get our list of movies together that we feel are worthy of having our video reviews of. But it's just been more of an issue of timing more than anything. But we're excited to get back out on YouTube as well. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google, and don't forget about Patreon. With Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2, logging on to theaters soon, we're looking at our top 5 online movies next. So we will catch you then.